I stood in front of the antique mirror, adjusting my veil one last time. The woman staring back at me looked perfect, too perfect. That should have been my first warning. My name is Monica, and this was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. 300 guests waited in the church's main hall. My $12,000 Vera Wang dress fit like a dream, and in 20 minutes, I'd be Mrs. Chase McBride. "You look stunning," Camila whispered, smoothing my train. Like a princess. I forced a smile, fighting the knot in my stomach. Something felt off. Chase hadn't answered my good morning text, and Jolie, my sister, and maid of honor, had disappeared 30 minutes ago to check on things. "I need to use the bathroom," I said, gathering my skirts. "Want me to help?" Camila asked. "No, I've got this. Practice makes perfect, right?" I laughed, having mastered the art of maneuvering this dress during fittings. The church corridors were quiet, my heels clicking against the marble floor. As I passed the library, I heard voices. Chase's distinctive laugh, followed by a feminine giggle I'd know anywhere. "Jolie." My hand froze on the doorknob. "Don't open it," a voice in my head warned. But I did. The scene burned into my retinas like a photographer's flash. Chase pressing my sister against the mahogany bookshelf, his hands tangled in her hair, their lips locked in a passionate kiss. Her leg wrapped around his waist, hiking up her bridesmaid dress. They didn't notice me at first. Then the door creaked. "Monica," Jolie jumped back, lipstick smeared. "This isn't... I mean..." Chase straightened his tie, cool as ice. "Honey, you're not supposed to see me before the wedding. Bad luck." I stood there, my mouth open, but no words coming out. The room spun slightly. "Are you serious?" I finally managed. "That's what you're going with?" Jolie smoothed her dress, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Mon, you're being dramatic. Chase was just helping me with my contact lens." "With your mouth?" My voice cracked. Chase stepped forward, reaching for my hand. I jerked away. "Monica, baby, you're stressed. Wedding day jitters are making you see things that aren't there." The audacity of their denial made my blood boil. They stood there, clothes disheveled, lips swollen, trying to gaslight me minutes before I was supposed to marry this man. "How long?" I demanded. They exchanged glances. Jolie actually giggled. "Monica, please," Chase sighed, like I was a child having a tantrum. "Let's not create a scene. Everyone's waiting." I backed away, my dress catching on a chair. The veil slipped from my hair, but I didn't care. I turned and ran, pushing past a startled server carrying champagne flutes. Outside, the June heat hit me like a wall. I collapsed onto a stone bench, gasping for air. This couldn't be happening. Not today, not with her. "Monica," a gentle voice called. Grandma Adeline appeared, elegant in her pale blue suit. Her eyes took in my state, understanding immediately. "You saw them," she said. Not a question. I nodded, tears finally spilling. She sat beside me, pulling an envelope from her purse. "I've been waiting for the right moment to give you this. I hoped it wouldn't be today, but perhaps it's perfect timing after all." "What is it?" "The truth," she said, pressing the envelope into my hands. "Read it later, alone. But first, decide. Do you want to run, or do you want to fight?" I stared at the envelope, then at the church doors. 300 people waited inside. Chase and Jolie probably thought I'd cry in the bathroom and then walk down that aisle like a good girl. I stood up, wiping my tears with the back of my hand. My $12,000 dress was dirty at the hem now. Perfect. "Neither," I said, straightening my spine. "I want to destroy them." Grandma Adeline smiled, a glint in her eye I'd never seen before. "That's my girl." I locked myself in the bridal suite, hands shaking, as I opened Grandma's envelope. The letter inside was dated 25 years ago, the paper yellowed with age. "What are you doing?" Camila knocked on the door. "Everyone's wondering." "Give me 5 minutes," I called back, unfolding the letter. My eyes scanned the first paragraph, and the world tilted sideways. I had to read it 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. "Dear Adeline," it began, "the money you offered will suffice. I'll disappear with my daughter, but Jerome needs to know the truth someday. Jolie deserves to know her real father." The letter slipped from my fingers. Jolie, my perfect, precious baby sister, wasn't my full sister at all. She was the product of my father's affair, brought into our family through my grandmother's careful orchestration of lies. Another knock, more insistent. "Monica," my mother's voice, "this is unacceptable behavior." I grabbed my phone, dialing Jarvis, my family's attorney, and one of my closest friends. "I need you," I whispered when he answered. "Now." "On my way," he said without hesitation. I read further. The letter revealed more than just Jolie's parentage. There were mentions of business dealings, of Chase's family being involved in some inheritance scheme. Words jumped out: merger, acquisition, leverage. My phone buzzed with a text from Chase. "Don't be childish. Come out so we can talk." I typed back, "Go to hell." Another text, this time from Jolie. "You're embarrassing yourself, and me." The rage that filled me was cold, calculating. I opened my banking app, cancelling the honeymoon reservations at the Caribbean resort. Then I called the resort directly. "Hi, I'd like to modify my booking," I said, surprising myself with how steady my voice was. "Instead of the honeymoon suite, I'll need 6 regular rooms for next weekend." A soft knock. "Monica?" Jarvis's voice. "It's me." I let him in, thrusting the letter at him. He read it quickly, his eyebrows rising. "Jesus," he muttered. "This explains a lot about the merger talks." "What merger talks?" "Chase's company has been circling your father's for months. There were rumors." He paused. "Monica, I think you were the key to their takeover plan." I laughed, a hollow sound. So not only did my sister sleep with my fiancé, but my fiancé was using me to steal my father's company. Essentially. Jarvis sat beside me. "What do you want to do?" I walked to the window, watching guests mill around outside. "I want them to suffer, not just Chase and Jolie, everyone who knew and said nothing. Legal or illegal. Legal, but creative." I turned to him. "Can you get me everything on Chase's business dealings?" "And I mean everything." He nodded. "Give me 3 days." I picked up my phone again, this time calling the wedding planner. "Hi, Susan. The wedding's off. Tell everyone it's postponed due to a family emergency. But, and Susan, make sure the press release mentions my deep regret and need for privacy during this difficult time. Health reasons." I caught my reflection in the mirror. My makeup was perfect again. I'd fixed it mechanically while reading the letter. But my eyes were different. Harder. "One more thing," I told Jarvis. "I need you to find someone named Caleb. He dated Jolie last year, until she suddenly dumped him. I have a feeling he might want to help us." "Help us do what?" I smiled, and it felt like baring teeth. "Help us arrange a very special gathering next weekend, one where all our family's secrets come out to play." My phone buzzed again. Chase calling. I answered this time. "Baby, please," he started. "Chase, I've been thinking. Maybe you're right. We should talk this through. Privately. Just give me a few days to process everything." I could hear his relief, his certainty that he'd won. "Of course, whatever you need." I hung up and turned to Jarvis. "Start digging. I'll handle the rest." "Monica," he said carefully, "revenge won't make this hurt less." "I know," I replied, "but it'll make it count." 3 days after my almost wedding, I sat in Camila's living room, surrounded by printouts and laptop screens. My phone buzzed with another message from Chase. "He's getting nervous," I said, showing Camila the text. "Says he misses me." She rolled her eyes. "Misses his meal ticket, more like. Jarvis's report is insane." I picked up one of the documents. Chase had been planning this for over a year. Dating me, proposing, all while orchestrating a hostile takeover of my father's company. The marriage would have given him insider access to board meetings, voting rights through marriage laws. Got him, Jarvis announced, walking in with fresh coffee. Caleb just agreed to meet us. An hour later, we sat across from Jolie's ex in a quiet cafe. He looked exactly like his LinkedIn photo. Handsome, but with sad eyes. "Why should I help you?" he asked, stirring his untouched latte. I slid my phone across the table, showing him a photo of Chase and Jolie from 6 months ago, when Caleb and Jolie were still together. His jaw tightened. "Where did you get this?" "Hotel security cameras. There's more." I paused. "They were laughing about you, you know. About us both." Caleb's knuckles went white around his cup. "What do you need me to do?" I pulled out the resort brochures. "Come to a little gathering next weekend. Bring those texts Jolie sent you about Chase. The ones she thought she'd deleted." He smiled for the first time. "You're evil." "No," I corrected. "I'm just done being nice." Back at Camilla's, I drafted the emails, one to Chase. "I've been thinking about what you said. Maybe we can work this out. Join me next weekend." One to Jolie. "Sis, I'm sorry I overreacted. Let's talk it through. Bring Mom and Dad." One to my parents. "I need family support right now. Please come." "They'll see through this," Camilla warned. "No, they won't." I showed her Chase's immediate reply. "Of course, baby. Whatever you need." Jolie's came next. "Finally being reasonable. See you there, XO." "They think I'm weak," I explained. "That I'll forgive anything to keep the peace, to keep the family together." My phone rang. Grandma Adeline. "I got your invitation," she said. "Are you sure about this?" "Did you know about Chase's plan for Dad's company?" A long pause. "I had suspicions. That's partly why I gave you the letter." "Then yes, I'm sure." I looked at the hotel confirmation. "Will you come?" "Wouldn't miss it," she chuckled. "I'll bring the letter's original envelope. There's something inside I didn't show you yet." After hanging up, I called the resort again, finalizing the details. Private beach dinner setup, hidden microphones, security cameras in all common areas. "Found it," Jarvis exclaimed, waving a paper. "Chase's hotel receipts from last year. He was meeting Jolie months before he even proposed to you." I took the receipt, adding it to my growing file. "Perfect." Camilla touched my arm. "Monica, what's your endgame here? What happens after everyone's secrets come out?" I walked to the window, watching the sunset. "You know what the worst part was? Not catching them kissing. It was them standing there smirking, thinking I'd just take it, that I'd be too afraid of scandal to fight back. And now? Now I want them to feel what I felt, helpless, exposed." I turned back to my friends. "But mostly, I want them to know that they picked the wrong woman to betray." My phone chimed with a message from the resort confirming all arrangements. I smiled, remembering Chase's face when he thought he'd won. Jolie's smirk when she thought I'd break. 1 week, I told my friends. 1 week until they learn what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. Jarvis raised his coffee cup. "To karma." "No," I corrected, raising mine. "To justice." Served ice cold with a side of receipts. The Caribbean resort sprawled before us like a postcard come to life. I watched from my balcony as Chase arrived first, then Jolie, deliberately taking separate cars to maintain their lie. My parents came next, followed by Grandma Adeline, who caught my eye and gave a subtle nod. "They're all here," Camilla said behind me. "Caleb just checked in too." I adjusted my white sundress, a deliberate choice that made Jolie's face twitch when she saw it. Almost bridal, but not quite. "Monica!" Chase called out, spotting me. "Baby, you look amazing." I let him hug me, fighting the urge to recoil. "Thanks for coming, all of you." "Of course we came," Jolie said, her smile sharp. "We're family." The afternoon passed in a blur of fake pleasantries and loaded glances. I played my part. Fragile, seeking reconciliation. Every time Chase touched my arm or Jolie called me sis, Camilla squeezed my hand under the table. During sunset drinks, I excused myself to freshen up and slipped into Jolie's room with the master key I'd arranged with hotel security. Her passport lay in her designer bag, exactly where I knew it would be. I flipped it open, photographing the stamps. Paris 3 months ago. London 6 months ago. All matching Chase's business trips. "What are you doing?" I spun around. Caleb stood in the doorway, looking uncertain. "Getting proof," I whispered. "Close the door." He did, then moved closer. "I heard them talking earlier, by the pool, when they thought no one was listening. And?" "Chase said something about keeping her calm until the papers are signed. Jolie laughed and said you'd probably thank them someday for stopping you from becoming a boring corporate wife." My hands shook as I replaced the passport. "Did you get it recorded?" He held up his phone, smiling. "Every word." Back at the pool, I found Chase and my father deep in conversation about business. Mum and Jolie lounged nearby, sharing gossip and cocktails. The perfect family scene. "Daddy," I said, sitting down, "remember when you taught me to swim here? When I was 6. He shifted uncomfortably. "That was a different resort, Monica." "No, it was here. Same place Jolie had her sweet 16 party." I turned to her. "Remember, sis, you loved it so much you came back, several times." Jolie's drink paused halfway to her lips. Chase's hand tightened on his armrest. "I don't recall," she said carefully. "Really, because your passport has quite a memory." The color drained from her face. Chase stood abruptly. "I need another drink. Monica, help me at the bar." I followed him inside, where he grabbed my arm. "What are you playing at?" "Isn't that my line?" I pulled away. "You're the one playing games, Chase. You and my sister." "For what, my father's company?" "You don't understand business," he hissed. "This merger would benefit everyone." "Everyone except me." He softened his voice, reaching for me. "Baby, I love you. Whatever you think you know." "Save it." I stepped back. "By the way, I invited someone else to dinner tonight. Remember Caleb?" The flash of panic in his eyes was beautiful. That evening, I watched them all dress for dinner, unaware that every moment was being recorded, every whispered conversation caught by hidden mics. Jarvis had ensured everything was legal. Security cameras in public spaces, recordings in open areas. Grandma Adeline caught me in the hallway. "Are you ready for this?" I touched the envelope in my clutch, the one she'd given me that morning, containing the final piece of evidence. "Are they?" She squeezed my shoulder. "Remember, once you start this avalanche, you can't stop it." "Good," I said, watching Chase and Jolie share a secret glance across the lobby. "Some things need to fall." The beach dinner was set up perfectly. White tablecloth, candles, hidden speakers. Soon, every carefully constructed lie would come crashing down. I checked my phone one last time. Jarvis's message read, "All systems ready, recordings queued, it's showtime." The beach dinner started perfectly. Waves crashed softly against the shore, candles flickered in the breeze, and wine flowed freely. Everyone was relaxed, exactly where I wanted them. "A toast," I said, raising my glass, "to family and all its secrets." Chase's smile faltered slightly. Jolie gripped her napkin. "Let's play a game," Camilla suggested right on cue. "Share your favorite memory of Monica and Chase's relationship." "Wonderful idea," Mom said, ever the proper hostess. "I'll start. The engagement party was just magical." I watched her spin her tale, noting how she avoided looking at Dad. One by one they shared stories, each more false than the last. When it was Chase's turn, I stood up. "Before you start, I have a memory to share." I nodded to Camila, who pressed a button on her phone. Chase's voice filled the air through hidden speakers. "Monica's so desperate to be the perfect daughter, she'll never see it coming. By the time the merger's complete, it'll be too late." Jolie's giggle followed. "At least you don't have to sleep with her much longer." Silence fell like a hammer. Mom's wine glass slipped from her hand, staining the white tablecloth red. "What is this?" Chase demanded, standing. "Sit down," I said quietly. "We're just getting started." More recordings played. Chase and Jolie in hotel rooms across Europe. Business meetings where Chase laughed about using me for insider access. Jolie bragging to friends about stealing my fiancé. Monica, stop this, Mom pleaded. Why? Afraid of what comes next? I turned to Dad. Like the truth about Jolie? Don't, he whispered. Grandma Adeline stood slowly. No, Jerome, it's time. She pulled out the original letter. 25 years ago, you had an affair. 9 months later, Jolie was born. Mum's face went ash white. Jolie knocked over her chair, standing up. You're lying, she snarled. The DNA test results are in that envelope, I said, along with the payments Grandma made to your birth mother. I knew something was off, Chase muttered, then louder. This changes the whole merger structure. If Jolie isn't legitimate... Legitimate? Jolie spun on him. Is that all you care about? Of course it is, I cut in. Just like he cared about my shares, my board seat potential. Tell them, Chase. Tell them about the takeover plans. Caleb chose that moment to step out of the shadows. Or I could play more recordings, like the ones where you both laughed about fooling me too. Jolie's face crumpled. Caleb? What are you... Enough. Dad slammed his hand on the table. Monica, what do you want? Want? I laughed. I want everyone to stop pretending. Mum, you knew about Jolie all along, didn't you? That's why you always favored her. Mum burst into tears, nodding. And Chase, I continued, those merger papers you hoped I'd sign next week, they're worthless now. The board already knows everything. Chase lunged for me, but Caleb caught him. Touch her and I'll add assault charges. You've ruined everything, Jolie screamed, mascara running. You couldn't just be quiet and play your part, could you? My part? I stepped closer. You mean the dutiful sister, the trusting fiancé, the daughter who pretends not to see the lies? Monica, Grandma Adeline warned, but I was beyond stopping. Here's what happens next, I announced. Tomorrow you all leave. Chase, the SEC would love those insider trading recordings. Jolie, your trust fund requires Dad's legitimate offspring status. Oops. You wouldn't, Mom gasped. I pulled out my phone, showing the email draft to my father's board. Try me. Chaos erupted. Mom collapsed, crying. Dad tried to reason with me. Chase threatened lawyers, but Jolie just stared, finally seeing me clearly. I never thought you had it in you, she said. That was your mistake. I turned to leave, then paused. By the way, those divorce papers you shredded from Caleb, I found copies. Turns out you're still legally his wife. Good luck explaining that to the inheritance lawyers. I walked away as the screaming started, the sound of justice being served almost as sweet as the ocean waves. The morning after the beach dinner, the resort felt like a battlefield at dawn. I sat at breakfast alone, watching the aftermath unfold through the restaurant's windows. Chase packed his car frantically, making angry phone calls. Mom hadn't left her room. Dad stood on his balcony, staring at nothing. Your father wants to see you, Grandma Adeline said, sliding into the seat across from me. He's signing new paperwork with Jarvis. Let him wait, I replied, buttering my toast with steady hands. You evil, manipulative bitch. Jolie stormed in, face red, clutching her phone. She slammed it on the table. An email from the family lawyer about her trust fund suspension was displayed on the screen. Careful, sis, I said. Or should I even call you that anymore? I was always more of a daughter than you, she spat. At least I knew how to make Daddy proud. By sleeping with my fiancé, real proud moment there. She leaned in close. You want to know something? Chase said you were boring in bed. Said you... The slap echoed through the restaurant. My hand stung, but watching her head snap sideways felt worth it. Monica! Mum appeared, finally emerging from hiding. How dare you hit your sister? She's not my sister, I said calmly. Your DNA test confirmed that, remember? This isn't about DNA, Mum cried. This is about family. Family? I stood up. Was it family when you watched Chase pursue me, knowing he was already sleeping with Jolie? Was it family when you helped cover up Dad's affair? I did what I had to do to keep us together. No, Grandma Adeline cut in. You did what was easy. Just like Jerome did what was easy. Just like Jolie does what's easy. Chase burst in. The board meeting's been moved up. They want to discuss the recordings. He grabbed Jolie's arm. We need to get our stories straight. Don't bother, I said, pulling out my phone. I already sent them everything. Texts, emails, hotel receipts, even that cute little spreadsheet where you calculated how much my shares would be worth after we married. His face went from red to white. You're bluffing. I played the video, Chase in the hotel bar last night, drunk, confessing everything to who he thought was a sympathetic bartender. Actually Caleb's friend, wearing a wire. You've destroyed my career, he whispered. No, you did that yourself. I just provided the evidence. Jolie started crying, but I'd learned to recognize her fake tears. Monica, please, we can fix this. We're still family. That's the thing about family, I said. You're supposed to love them, not destroy them. You both tried to destroy me. I never... Save it. I turned to Mom. The press release goes out in an hour. Either you control the narrative about Jolie's parentage or the tabloids will. Mom sank into a chair. What do you want us to say? The truth, for once. Dad appeared in the doorway, looking older than I'd ever seen him. The papers are signed. It's done. What papers? Jolie demanded. I've restructured everything, he said quietly. The company, the trusts, the inheritance. Monica gets controlling interest. The silence was deafening. You can't, Jolie screamed. She's trying to ruin us. No, Dad said. We did that ourselves. Chase stormed out, already on the phone with his lawyer. Mom followed, crying. Jolie stood there, mascara running. You were never meant to be the star, she hissed. Dad never loved you like he loved me. I stepped close, my voice low. Maybe, but he respected me enough not to lie to my face, unlike you. She raised her hand to slap me. I caught her wrist. Don't, I warned. You've already lost everything. Don't lose your dignity, too. She yanked away and ran out, leaving me with Dad and Grandma Adeline. Was it worth it? Dad asked. I looked at the chaos I'd created, the family I'd broken to find the truth. Ask me tomorrow, I said, and walked away from them all. Dawn found me sitting alone on the resort's pier, watching the sun paint the ocean gold. The sound of footsteps made me turn. Camila, carrying 2 cups of coffee. You look terrible, she said, handing me one. Thanks, I feel worse. She sat beside me. The news is everywhere. Corporate merger scandal rocks family. Wedding cancelled over secret affair. Your PR team's been busy. What about Chase? His company's board forced him to resign. Apparently they don't like executives who plan hostile takeovers through seduction. I sipped my coffee, letting the warmth spread through my chest. And Jolie? Last seen boarding a plane with your mom. Social media's already buzzing about her mysterious wellness retreat in Switzerland. My phone buzzed. Jarvis calling. I put him on speaker. The board meeting just ended, he said. Your father's position is secure, and they're implementing all the protective measures we suggested. Also, Chase's lawyers reached out. He's willing to sign an NDA if we don't pursue criminal charges. Let him sweat a bit longer, I replied. After hanging up, I pulled out an old photo from my wallet. Me and Jolie as kids, gap-toothed smiles, holding hands at the beach. I'd always thought my smile looked strained. Now I knew why. Monica, Grandma Adeline's voice. She joined us, elegant even at this early hour. We need to talk. About what? More family secrets? She handed me another envelope. The last one, I promise. Inside was a letter from Jolie's birth mother, dated just last year. She'd been watching from afar, proud of her daughter's success, but worried about her character. She reached out to me, Grandma said. Wanted to warn us about Jolie's pattern of destructive behavior. I should have told you then. Would it have made a difference? Maybe not, but secrets have a way of growing in the dark. A message popped up on my phone from Dad. The house is yours if you want it. Your mother and I are separating. I'm sorry for everything. What do I do now? I asked no one in particular. Camila squeezed my hand. Whatever you want. That's the point, isn't it? You're free. Free, I repeated. The word felt strange. I destroyed my family to be free. No, Grandma said firmly. They destroyed your family with lies. You just exposed the truth. Another message, this time from an unknown number. Jolie, I hate you, but I understand why you did it. Maybe in another life, we could have been real sisters. I deleted it without responding. The company lawyers called. Grandma continued. Your father's shares are being transferred to you today. You'll be the youngest board member in the company's history. I don't want it, I said suddenly. Any of it. What? I stood up, feeling lighter than I had in days. I don't want the house, the shares, the board seat. Let Dad keep running things. I need something else. Like what? Camila asked. I pulled up my travel app, scrolling through destinations. Remember how I always wanted to study photography in Paris? The program I gave up because Chase said it wasn't practical? Understanding dawned on their faces. You're leaving, Grandma said. Not running away, I corrected. Just finding my own path, away from all this. What about the company, the inheritance? Camila asked. Put it in a trust. Donate the profits to domestic violence shelters or something. I don't care. I looked at the rising sun. I'm tired of living in their world of corporate takeovers and family lies. Grandma smiled, really smiled. Your mother will be horrified. The society pages will talk. Let them. I'm done playing roles in other people's stories. I stood up, brushing off my dress. The ocean breeze felt like possibility, like freedom. Book your ticket, Camila said. I'll help you pack. For the first time since my almost wedding day, I felt myself smile. Really smile. No strain, no pretense. Just me, choosing my own path at last. The Paris morning light streamed through my apartment window as I developed my latest photos. My exhibition, Family Secrets, was opening tonight at a small gallery in Le Marais. My phone buzzed. Camila's face appeared on screen. The magazine article just dropped, she said without greeting. Want me to read it? Hit me. Corporate heiress Monica trades boardroom for darkroom, stunning art world with raw exploration of family dynamics. Her photographs, particularly Sister's Shadow and Father's Truth, have garnered critical acclaim. Skip to the juicy part, I said, hanging up my latest print. Fine. When asked about her infamous ex-fiancé's recent bankruptcy filing, the artist declined to comment. Sources say Chase faces potential criminal charges for attempted corporate espionage. A knock at my door interrupted us. Call you back. I opened it to find Grandma Adeline, elegant as ever in Parisian chic. Surprise. You came. I hugged her, breathing in her familiar perfume. I wouldn't miss your first exhibition. She surveyed my workspace. Your mother sends her love. From Switzerland? She's home now. The divorce is final. She's different, softer. I hung another photo, Mom and Jolie at the beach dinner. Their faces caught in the moment, truth shattered their perfect masks. Have you heard from her? Grandma asked. Jolie? She sent a message last week, said my photos were brutally honest. Coming from her, I'll take it as a compliment. Grandma touched one of the prints. Dad standing alone on that resort balcony, his silhouette broken by morning light. He's proud of you, you know. The company's thriving under his sole leadership, but he keeps your board seat empty, just in case. I'm not coming back. I know, she smiled. That's why he's proud. My phone buzzed again. Jarvis this time. Turn on CNN, he said when I answered. I pulled up the news on my laptop. Chase's face filled the screen as he was led into court in handcuffs. Securities fraud, Jarvis explained. Turns out we weren't his only targets. You dodged a bullet, Monica. No, I said. I saw the bullet coming and got out of the way. After he hung up, Grandma helped me arrange the final photos for the exhibition. We worked in comfortable silence until she picked up one I'd hidden away. The wedding dress photo, taken moments before I found Chase and Jolie. You should include this one, she said softly. It's too personal. That's why it matters. She placed it in the center wall. Sometimes the most personal stories are the most universal. The gallery filled quickly that evening. Art critics mingled with photographers, sipping wine and discussing symbolism. But I watched the real show, people's faces as they moved from photo to photo, seeing their own family secrets reflected in mine. Camilla appeared with champagne. To your new life? To truth, I countered. Speaking of truth. She nodded toward the door. Caleb walked in, looking sharp in a suit. Hope I'm not crashing. You're in 3 of the photos. You practically belong here. He grinned. Jolie's divorce finally came through, the real one this time. Good for you. Good for both of us, he said. We're free. The exhibition's centerpiece drew crowds all evening, a triptych of the beach dinner. Panel 1, the perfect family facade. Panel 2, the moment of revelation. Panel 3, the beautiful ruins of truth. You've created something remarkable, Grandma said as the last guest left. Not just the art, the life you've chosen. I looked around at my photos, my truth displayed on white walls. No more corporate mergers, no more family lies, no more playing roles in someone else's story. You know what's funny? I said. They thought they were ruining my life that day in the church. Instead, they set me free. And the photos? They're not about revenge anymore. They're about survival, growth, choice. Grandma hugged me tight. That, my dear, is the best revenge of all. I didn't wear white that day, and maybe I never will. But I wore something better, freedom, and it fits me perfectly.